tell you I'll tell you some brief examples of how do we do it. Uh, so I guess let's not wait and let's start with the session. First of all, I'll just brief about the basics of IP that is there. Means what is a patentability criteria? What are the requirements that are required for having a granted patent? The overall life cycle of a patent, and then probably we will discuss into brief about the Section 3K and subsequent software related invention. Right? I think so. We should start with the session now.
Yes, please start, Karan. Yeah.
Okay.
Good afternoon.
So I guess the screen is visible to everyone.
Yes, it's
It
visible.
is right. Okay. So let's start with the basics of IP. That is the intellectual property rights. So it can be divided under the umbrella. There are variety of intellectual property rights. So some of them have been mentioned to you in this slide. They can be patents, trademarks, copyrights, industrial designs, or we also call them design patents, and integrated circuit topographies. Right. So we'll focus today's session will focus more on the patents part and the copyrights part, because these two will be of most significant to you guys, as so rightly mentioned that you guys or the faculty members are from CS and IT department. So we'll broadly cover the patents and the copyrights in today's session. So what are patents? So patents are basically techno-legal documents that hold a significant value, right? That provides some exclusionary rights to an individual, so that they could make, use, sell, license their present invention. And when I say that, means they could exclude others from using your invention. It means that no one else, without your permission or without your license, can use your invention, right? And I coined the term techno-legal documents. Why did I call patents as techno-legal documents? Because they involve a great deal of technical expertise, and they hold a legal value, right? So means you are from, whether from engineering background or mechanical background, electrical background, computer science background, right? You should have some technical expertise in order for your invention to be granted, or in order to think that what can means how to make a structure or a mechanism feasible, right? So you should require or you need some technical expertise in that domain. And further, they hold a legal value, is that you can exclude others from using your invention, right? So that is why the term techno legal document. Now every invention is not granted, right? Many of the inventions are rejected, some of the inventions are granted. Now what are the criteria, or what are the conditions that your invention needs to fulfill in order to get a granted patent, right? Every invention cannot be a granted patent. So what are the conditions which your invention has to go through in order for you to get a granted patent? There are three basic or three important conditions. Those are basically, it should fulfill the novelty criteria, it should fulfill the non-obviousness criteria, and your invention should be industrially reproducible. So means I'll discuss about all three of these in detail, about what do I mean when I say novelty criteria or the non-obviousness criteria or the industrial reproducibility criteria. So means before that, I'll means brief you about a term known as prior art, right? So whenever I talk about any intellectual property, whenever I means talk about any invention, there will be always be a term called prior art. So what is a prior art? So prior art is any information, any document, any prototype, or any product that is available in the means that is commercially available, that is there on Google, right? So that is there in the public domain before you have created that created your invention, right? So any product, it could be a product, it could be a prototype, it could be an article, it could be a research article, it could be a patent literature, non-patent literature, it could be anything that is already there in the public domain. So that is termed under prior art. So means your invention must not be exactly a replica of a prior art, right? So means first and foremost, the criteria, I'll talk about the novelty criteria. So in novelty criteria is that your invention should be new, means it should be new. How do we compare it? Is that it should be new, and there should not be any prior arts that should, any relevant prior arts that should exactly be a replica of your invention. If that is the case, then what will happen is that your invention would be rejected, right? You can take motivation from the prior arts, right? So there could be many related paragraphs that are there, right? If you're working on biometric authentication, there are various patents, there are various research articles already there in the public domain, right? So you can take motivation, you can take the domain such as biometric authentication, but you have to add certain components, you have to add certain restrictions of your own in order for you to get a granted patent, in order for you to fulfill the novelty criteria, right? So your invention should be new. You can take motivation from the prior art, but you cannot exactly copy the prior art. If you try to do it, then what will happen is that your invention would be rejected under the novelty criteria. Now, novelty criteria is very simple. I mean, there should not be any relevant prior art that exists before creating your invention. Now, the main problem is the non-obviousness criteria. So, whenever we receive inventions, we reject it by non-obviousness criteria, and we send the reports back to the students. What happens is that they are unable to means understand the non-obviousness criteria. So, what happens in the non-obviousness criteria is that even if means suppose an inventor, one feature is present in one prior art, the second feature is present in second prior art, right? So your invention consists of 5 features, right? And all those 5 features we were not able to identify in one prior art, but we were able to identify those those key features in multiple prior arts, suppose in 2 or 3 or 4 prior arts. Suppose one feature is obtained in one prior art, the second feature is obtained in second prior art, and so on. The fourth feature is obtained in the fourth prior art. And what an inventor does it, they just combine it together. So now your invention would fulfill the novelty criteria, right? Because you have just combined 4 of the patents and made it into one. So it will fulfill the novelty criteria. But what will happen is that it will come under the non-obviousness criteria. It will be rejected under the non-obviousness criteria, because what you have done is you have just mixed or combined those articles or prototypes or basically patents, and just made it into one single article. So whenever we send the report citing 2 or 3 results, the inventor is unable to understand is that you have cited 3 prior arts. None of the invention singularly discloses all the key features. But what happens is that it is rejected under non-obviousness criteria. So you have to be aware that non-obviousness criteria is the main criteria that you have to fulfill. Is that means even if I combine all of the prior arts that are there, maybe if I combine 10 prior arts, I should not be able to yield your invention, right? Your invention should have some more technical feature to it. Your invention should be more enhanced and should have greater efficiency, right? If you are able to prove that, then of course it fulfills the novelty criteria and the non-obviousness criteria. And the third criteria is that it should be industrially reproducible. So when I say industrially reproducible, it is not specific to a particular industry. Means it is not like it should be a robot, it should be a fan, it could be anything. It can be a robot, it can be a TV, it could be a table, it could be a chair, it could be from any industry, from autonomous sector to a mechanical sector to a manufacturing sector. It could be in any domain, but it should be industrially reproducible. So if your invention fulfills all these 3 criteria, suppose it is novel, means it is new, and it also fulfills the non-obviousness criteria, means if any person who has some knowledge and they see 5 of the prior arts that are there, they should not come to a conclusion that if I combine those 5 patents, if I combine those NPLs, then it should result in your invention, right? So it should fulfill that non-obviousness criteria, and further it should also fulfill the industrially reproducibility criteria, that is it should be useful. So if your invention fulfills all these 3 criteria, then we can say that you can have a granted patent. So I hope all these 3 criteria are clear at your end. Now, what can happen is that suppose our house is protected by fencing, right? So no one can enter, means without taking a prior permission, right? No one can enter that perimeter. No one can break the fencing and come into our house. So exactly, a patent is made up of several components. So a patent is made up of abstract. It is made up of claims. It is made up of problem statement or background, and it is made up of specifications. So exactly, claim is the fencing part, right? So claim actually protects the overall patent. So whatever you are claiming is your patent, right? And one patent can have one novelty. It cannot have multiple novelties. Single patent is single novelty. If it has multiple novelties, then of course the examiner would reject it. Now, what you can exactly claim? So you can claim multiple things. You can claim basically a method of how that thing is being made, right? So suppose I'll give you means multiple examples of various prototypes that are related to computer science, but just an overall example of a door lock, right? Means it could be a vehicle door lock, it could be means the doors that we use at our home, it could be a door lock. So exactly what we can claim, so we can claim a method, right, of how exactly means the process of making it. We can claim a composition of how with what kind of materials is that door lock made, right? So we can basically claim a composition, we can claim the overall device, right? We can claim how it is working with other devices by having a system claim, right? So all these things could be claimed. So basically a method claim, an apparatus claim, a system claim could be there, and further a composition claim also could be there, right? That depends on the requirements. Suppose you are from computer science and IT background, so mainly it would focus around apparatus or the device claim, system claim, and a method claim, right? So composition would not means come into play, right? So for you guys, system claim, apparatus claim, a device claim, and a method claim are of greater significance. Now, 90% of the inventions are modifications or improvements over the existing patented inventions. There is always a query that exactly what we can patent, how we can patent it. Suppose if the thing is already there in the prior art, can we not use it, right? So what you can do is you can take motivation, as I earlier said, you can take motivation, you can identify some problem statement. So there are multiple patents on smart agriculture system, right? And we have thousands of patents on smart agriculture, IoT based smart agriculture. How we are able to get thousands of patents, right? How we can do is that we can always take motivation, we can identify some problem statements. So of course if there is a patent, there will be of course a problem statement, and of course there will be a claim, right? So you can enhance your claim, you can enhance the components, you can enhance the method of how exactly you are doing it. And if you identify the problem statements and rectify that problem by using certain components, by using certain restrictions or using certain conditions, then what you can do is that you can of course have a granted patent. Though the prior art would be there, but you can modify that prior art and make it into your own invention. So suppose I'll give you certain examples. So doors were already there, right? So there were a lot of patents, design patents, utility patents, functional patents on the normal working of a door, right? Now a person would say that I cannot use door because it has already been patented. But what some inventors did, they added certain enhanced components to it. What they did was they added biometric capabilities. They added means multiple parameters with which they could authenticate. Maybe adding a voice control system to the door. So doors were already there in the prior art, but what we did was we incorporated certain new features to it. We added voice recognition capabilities to the door. We added biometric capabilities to the door, and by adding those components, we have several patents of doors that are patented. We can modify certain components. We can identify some problems that were there with. We can identify certain problems that are still existing with biometric machines which are installed on the door. We can rectify those problem statements by adding certain components that we think of, and then it can be patented, right? So by adding restrictions, by adding modifications to the already existing patented inventions, we can of course get more patented inventions. Similarly, the example of a wired mouse and a wireless mouse. So a mouse was already being patented, means 20 years, 30 years back, it was already being patented, right? Now some people, some inventors, they identified a certain problem statements. What they did was they identified that the wired mouse used to get, means the wire used to get entangled with each other, and it created a lot of inconvenience to the user. Now some inventors, they added some wireless communication capabilities to the already existing mouse, right? They added certain components, they made it feasible, and they connected it wirelessly through computer, through laptops, or through other devices, right? And this was also granted. Maybe what other people could do is that there are various keys that are present on the keyboard. They could install those keys on the mouse, and they can get a patent of it, right? So by adding certain modifications, by continuously adding or incorporating new features to the already existing inventions, we can get new patents out of it, right? So we are just taking motivation, we are just identifying a problem statement, and then we are getting some new features, and we can get a granted patent. Now the life cycle of a patent is actually of 20 years. Means it is counted from the date of filing of the application, 20 years from the date of filing. Now I'll just brief you about the overall life cycle of what exactly happens whenever an invention comes to us. On what parameters do we check it, and how it gets processed, means how we file it in the Indian Patent Office, and what are the subsequent process. So I'll just brief you about that. Now, what happens is that whenever some inventor sends us the invention, we check it on three criteria. As I have already stated, we check it whether it fulfills the novelty criteria, whether it fulfills the non-obviousness criteria, and whether it fulfills the industrially reproducibility criteria. We make a report by adding certain prior arts that are already there, some relevant prior arts, some related prior arts, and means if we feel that it is getting rejected, we tell the inventor to modify it accordingly. And if it is approved, what we do is that means we draft it accordingly according to the rules suggested by the Indian Patent Office, and then we subsequently file it. When we file it, we get an application number, right? So once we file it, we have to deposit certain amount of fee, and we get an application number. So after 18 months it is published, means under normal circumstances it is published after 18 months. Now, what happens is that some inventors could opt for early publication also, and early examination. So, early publication and early examination can happen. That is an optional thing. It includes extra cost, right? So, there has to be some charges that has to be paid by the inventor or the applicant in order for them to get an early publication advantage, right? Early publication and early examination could both happen, but they involve extra cost. Now, I am talking about a standard procedure. So after 18 months it gets published, and then subsequently means at the time of filing, from the date of filing till 48 months, we can request for examination. We have to file a form that is request for examination, so that examiner could start examining the application. So we can do it from the date of filing till 48 months. We have that window, right? And once we file a request for examination and once it is published, then what will happen is that examiner will start examining the application. They could accept it, they could reject it, right? But what happens is that they basically generate a first examination report. What is included in the first examination report is that if examiner is not satisfied with certain things, or they are really not clear about what are the things that are included in the claims, or there are certain rejections that the examiner thinks, or certain prior that the examiner find. So those are the things that are included in the first examination report, and we as a company or the inventor has to file a response to it, right? A response to a first examination report, and based on that your invention could be rejected or it could be approved, right? There could be a separate hearing procedure also that could take place, right? It also includes extra cost. If the examiner is still not satisfied, so the examiner can opt for a hearing procedure, and then further based on the hearing, it could be a physical hearing, it could be an online hearing. Based on that, your invention could again be accepted or rejected, right? So that is the final result. So this is basically the overall life cycle of a patent. First it is filed, then it is published, then further it is examined, and there could be a hearing procedure that is optional, and then the final conclusion takes place is your invention is granted or whether it is rejected. Now means you have understood about the three criteria, right? But there is also means apart from those three criteria, there are certain sections or there are certain clauses under section 3. Means if your invention comes under those sub clauses or sections under section 3, then what will happen is that even if your invention fulfills all the criteria, your invention would be rejected because it should not follow under those it should not follow under the clauses of section 3, right? So section 3 of Indian Patents Act is nothing but it gives you the clauses or conditions of exactly what are the things that are not patentable, right? So means one of the sections that is of importance to you is section 3K of Indian Patents Act, right? So what does section 3K suggest, or what does section 3K tell, discloses? So section 3K discloses that mathematical formulas, business methods, programs, softwares per se, right? So these algorithms, these are actually not patentable, right? So means you would say that even if my invention is fulfilling all the three criteria, why it is not patentable? How can I protect if I want to protect my software, right? So you can protect the software, right, by inculcating or by incorporating it with a certain novel hardware, right? So the software cannot be the hero of the invention. It has to be, of course, the hardware would be the hero, and the software would be a side part, would be a sub hero of that, right? So if you just want to protect your software, then you have to do it with the help of copyright. Yes, of course, you can protect them. If you just want to protect only the software thing, you will protect it by software. You will protect it by copyright. Because under the section 3K, it would be rejected. Your invention would be rejected. Now there are always various queries about artificial intelligence and machine learning. Is that there are many patents that the inventors find that they are also patented. So how come they are patented? We'll just have certain examples of it, that how artificial intelligence, machine learning, means convolution neural networks, deep neural learning could be included in those patents, and it could still be granted. So we'll look at certain examples. We'll look at certain conditions. Is that how to protect artificial intelligence and machine learning based software. Now, as I've already stated, that you cannot just protect the software. You cannot just protect the coding part. What you can do is that you can probably include or integrate it with a certain kind of novel hardware. So just including means by just installing them on a CD-ROM or a pen drive would not merely solve the purpose. It would still be rejected, right? So that is not the case. What I'm talking about hardware is that suppose you want to make suppose take an example of IoT based smart agriculture. Now, what happens is that there are various sensors that are present on the field, and various data that has been recorded by those sensors. So, what these sensors do is that these sensors send the data to the microcontroller, right? They execute those data, means AI algorithms or machine learning algorithms could be there. They could actually means suggest the farmer, basically suggest the farmer based on weather monitoring data. There could be weather sensors, there could be humidity sensors, there could be moisture sensors, soil sensors, right? There could be different types of sensors. They actually accumulate the data, right? And by the use of AI algorithms, we are just using AI algorithms, and we are just using machine learning to predict whether what kind of nutrient would be required for this type of crop, right? What amount of water would be needed, means if this is the crop, then what the kind, based on the weather conditions, should we actuate the sprinklers, right? So basically automatic actuation of sprinklers, right, could be a decision made by AI algorithms, right, that are executing at the back end. So by incorporating AI algorithms, machine learning, with the hardware, by taking data from various sensors, storing it in cloud, storing it in edge servers, right? What you can do is you can probably means invent or technically introduce a holistic system. You can protect that system, but you independently just cannot protect the AI algorithms, right? So this is just one of the examples. Smart agriculture system is one of the examples that could be there. Waste segregation could be there, right? So there could be means dustbin, waste segregation system could be integrated with a dustbin, right? So what happens is that there are various motors that are installed that are segregating the waste, right? So based on the image recognition capabilities, based on the AI cameras installed. So what are basically AI cameras? So AI cameras is nothing but AI algorithms being implemented on a hardware, being implemented on a camera. So those are AI cameras. So AI cameras could tell it to the microcontroller that based on the object detection, or based on which kind of waste that has been detected, they can segregate it, right? So what we are doing is that we are claiming the entire system and just not the algorithm, by including various motors to it, by including dustbin, by acting by including various actuators. What we are doing is that we are enhancing the effect. We are just using AI algorithms. We are just using the software part, and then we are integrating with a novel hardware. So that if we combine them together, then that holistic system could be protected under the patents. Further, means as I've already told, that claim working, a method or a process of a device which uses AI. and just not AI. We should not be restricted only on the algorithm that we have created, but how that algorithm is benefiting a system, right? So that system would be claimed, and AI algorithm would be a sub part of it rather than being a complete part of it. And further, do not focus directly on programming codes and algorithms of AI. So as I've already told you, I'll just give you certain more examples. And further make them as technical inventions and not mere software. So means I'm repeating it again and again that just the algorithm part, just the software part alone, you cannot patent it, right? You have to include it with the hardware. And by the hardware, what I mean is that if there are various sensors that are using, right, how the data is being collected, how the data is being stored, how the data is being processed. So all of these things means there would be a hardware that would be doing these things, right? So just include everything and create a holistic system rather than just thinking about the algorithm. The AI algorithm could be a sub part of it, but not a complete part. As I was giving you the example of basically a portable smart soil NPK analyzer, or basically in smart agriculture, what can happen is that there are various multiple sensors, right? Humidity, soil sensor means the sensor that detects whether appropriate nutrients are required or not, right? They send the data. That data is being processed by using certain algorithms, right? The camera could be there, AI camera could be there, right? So means we are giving those extra means intelligent features to that camera, right? So by the combination of it, we can provide certain suggestions, or we can actuate certain motors, we can actuate certain pumps, so that there is no need of means there should not be any human intervention, right? So without the knowledge of farmer only, what can happen is that their field could be irrigated, right? There could be sprinklers, there could be pumps installed, and based on AI and ML, what can happen is that we can actuate the pumps at the required times. So whenever it is a rainy season, we will not actuate the pumps, and based on automatic detection, whenever it is a dry season, so then appropriate amount of water would be sprinkled without human intervention, right? So this is one of the examples of how you can integrate artificial intelligence and machine learning, right, in the agriculture field to get various patents. Similarly, I told you an example of object detection or detecting a region of interest from a remote location, right? So that remote location can be installed on a UAV, right? So basically, it can be a drone, it can be a robot. That actually means suppose there are delivery robots, right? So they have to deliver pizza from one place to another. What can happen is that they could use multiple sensors, right? So we are again talking about various sensors, various data that will be collected by those sensors, and how those data would be stored in the memory, right? Would be processed. Microcontroller would do the processing, and with all of these stuff, what we can do is we claim the entire system and just not the machine learning algorithm, right? We are just using AI and ML just to enhance the feature of the hardware that we are using. So if we are doing this, then of course we can have multiple patents of it. If we are just focusing on the AI and ML algorithm or the software part, then that alone could not be patented. Further, let's take an example, means a real life example of basically COVID prevention system, right? Now there are various thermal cameras means that are there, or various AI cameras that are there, right? So what they do is that based on facial recognition, means they detect the faces, then they compare it with some data that this person was infected from this to this state, and they should not be out, right? And if they are out, an alert is generated to the respective authorities, right? That alert could be in the form of visual alert or audible alert, or that could be an alert that is communicated via GSM module, right? So we are also including various hardware to it, right? And we are communicating an alert. But how we are doing it? We are actually capturing the pictures of various persons. We are actually identifying that this person amongst these 10 people was infected, and how we should actually inform that person to get isolated, right? So these are the things that we can embed in real life scenarios, so that we can get multiple patents out of it. Similarly, since it's a rainy season, we are actually facing rains every day. What can happen is that there are multiple mechanisms of means I've seen various patents in which means umbrellas are integrated with actually bags, right? So what they have claimed is that they have claimed the mechanism. of how the umbrella is actually means incorporated with a bag. Now what we can do is we can add certain smart features to it. Based on some AI and ML algorithms, what we can do is that based on there could be multiple sensors, weather sensors could be there, and based on weather sensors, when it detects that it is raining, it automatically actuates the umbrella from the bag, right? So if we are able to prove that there are certain limitations, suppose this is a prior art, there is a prior art in which umbrella is actually integrated with a bag, and what we have to do is that we have to manually press a button to actuate the umbrella. Now we can identify that it is still a problem statement, and how can we make it smart, how can we make it different from the already existing prior art, is that based on AI algorithm we can automate it. Based on machine learning we can automate it, and we can also install a weather sensor, and based on that the umbrella automatically gets actuated. And that thing, if we are not able to find in prior art, that thing also could be patented. So these are some of the patents or real life examples that I have told you, that how AI, how artificial intelligence, how machine learning could be incorporated with certain hardware in order for us to get multiple granted patents. And how to overcome means if there are multiple prior arts present, how to modify your inventions accordingly. Means this was the example multi-purpose waterproof bag device that I was giving. Means it's just an umbrella that has been attached with a bag. We can change the mechanism also, right? We can change the overall efficiency of the system. Means we can change the coverage area of the umbrella also to get a new patent, right? So we have to identify certain problem statements that are already existing, and based on that we can add or remove certain features in order to get a granted patent. So I guess these are the examples that I've told you about. Now means if you just want to protect the softwares or algorithms, right? That comes under the literary works. If you just want to protect them, then also you can do it. But patents is not the best way to do it. You have to protect them by different kind of intellectual property right, and those are termed under copyrights, right? So what are copyrights? So basically, copyrights when you have to protect the softwares or literary work or artistic works, the kind of intellectual property right that helps you in saving those inventions or songs or lyrics, right, or pictures, photographs. So you can do it by copyright if you don't want to integrate it with a certain kind of hardware. So I guess this was the majorly about the patents and the copyrights thing. If so, if you would allow that, should I present the trademark thing or should we take the questions right now?
And that also I will leave it to the participants. So participants, do you have any query regarding patent or regarding copyright till now? Because what Karan is suggesting you that alone software part cannot be patented. If you want to go for the patenting, and some supporting hardware which should be novel, and then after algorithm along with that you can go and you can ask for the patenting. But separately, if you are having only the coding part, then perhaps the copyright that you can do. But how much security you will get after the copyright, that is a question mark, because it is ultimately it is a technical thing. For the artistic things or for the website design or for the song lyrics, movies, copyright, this is a good option. In copyright, the total expenses are also very less, and I don't think that there is some question of continuing the copyright current. Is it, or copyright it is only one time paid thing in patent,
You
as we
cannot
need to
you cannot
continue for 20 years?
Yes, so we have to pay the maintenance fee of, I guess, the patents. That is one thing, right?
Mhm.
For copyrights also, you have to renew it. Basically, the validity of copyright is actually increased. You cannot actually renew that copyright thing, right? The copyrights are valid till 60 years after the death of the author. So
Right,
throughout
right,
the lifetime, they're valid, and after 60 years also, after the death of the author, they are valid. So after that, we cannot continue them. As with the
right, right.
cases of patents, they are valid for 20 years. We have to pay certain kind of maintenance fee for it, right? And means after a certain amount of years, and then probably if we don't pay the fee, then they get abandoned. And after paying the fee, they are means again brought back to life, right?
And
So
that fee is a good amount, Karan, if I'm
yes,
not
that
wrong.
is, yes, maintaining fee
A
is
good amount.
also good amount. So what
And
happens is that that is why patents have monetization benefits, right? What happens is that why do companies have patents? They invest so much in the R&D sector. Then what is the use of a patent? How can we monetize them? What happens is that you would have seen Samsung and Apple cases, right? There are 2 billion litigation cases that are there. What happens after having a patent? If suppose Apple tries to copy Samsung,
Right.
then they can sue them in court. They could file infringement cases. There are separate searches related to that. So we call them infringement analysis or infringement searches. In those cases, what happens is there is a claim. Suppose Apple is infringing on Samsung's patent. So what we do is that we take Samsung claims and then we map it onto the product. We map it onto the Apple's product. Suppose it is there on the iPhone 10. So we actually map the patent claims with that of Apple product, and then we can sue them in court so that it provides an option for monetization benefit, right? We can earn in billions and trillions of dollars if we have our product protected through proper intellectual property rights. So this is actually the advantage of having a patent.
Right, right, Karan. Very right. And otherwise, also without hardware integration, if you are just having a coding, then for what it is basically, it is technically also it is correct that this coding is for this particular purpose, and that is why government is accepting it as a patent.
Yes. So actually, just protecting the softwares means, as you're talking, that actually protecting the softwares would, by copyrights, would of course cost very little, right? So
Right,
means if you are actually spending some amount of money, very less amount of money, then actually the revenue you can generate would also be very less. In
right,
patents, you are spending a wholesome amount of money, and actually there are greater advantages of having patents than the copyrights.
right,
But there are some inventors, there are certain conditions in which you don't want to integrate it with hardware. Then you can go for a copyright thing rather than going for a patent thing. Because if you go for a patent thing, it would be you can file it, of course, but then examiner would reject it under the section 3K, and the whole money in filing the patent, professional fee that is given, right, request for examination fee, that would of course be wasted.
right, right. Very right. Karan. Karan, one question is coming in the chat box that ma'am is asking that I need some clarification regarding patent in biomedical applications, various drugs and certain procedures. So that I guess we can do. We can go for patenting for drugs or for the combination of the chemicals.
So we have to there are various subsections under that also. Apart from the novelty non-obviousness criteria, so we can go for biomedical cases also. But what happens is that there is section 3D, yeah, 3I, 3K. There are various subsections under section 3 also, right? So if you're just combining it, right? If you're just making a mixture out of it, means suppose there is a prior art A and there is a prior art B, and you are just making a mixture out of it, then those would of course be rejected. You have to prove that there should be a synergizing effect, right? So if you are combining, suppose the effect of two drugs, then the cumulative the effect should be greater than just the combination, right? So A plus B should not result into A plus B only, right? A combination of A plus B, it should result into A plus B plus C. So of
That's the
course we can,
novelty. The simple the novelty.
yeah, the increased efficiency should be there. So this is basically under section 3D. So if you're just combining two drugs and you're just getting A plus B, suppose the efficacy is 20% of one drug, 20% of another drug, and you are getting an efficacy of 40%. So if you are not having greater efficacy when you are combining it, then of course your patent would be rejected, even if it fulfills all the three criteria. So
Right, right.
section 3D, 3I, and 3K are 3I and E are very important in that respect.
Mr. Raman, I need some more clarification. What I want to ask is, say, suppose we have uh, come out with a new procedure, some biomedical procedure, which could be good for the society.
Mm-hmm.
So, could the patent office deny that? Keeping in view that maybe say I am the owner, once I become the owner and I have the patent rights, I might exploit it and it doesn't go to the general public or
So what
society.
happens is that method of treatment, right? A method of
Method of
treatment.
treatment or procedure or से मे बी कोई स्टिचलेस स्यूचर्स अगर हमारे पास कुछ आ गया उससे
So,
चीज नहीं लगेंगे
like
हम.
what I'm saying, that method of treatment is not patentable in India, right? You can basically patent a device that does it, but you cannot exactly means if some
Procedure cannot be, yeah, that's what a procedure cannot be treated.
method of treatment, yes, procedure could not be treated. Means if it is rendering someone free of disease, then that thing could not be patented. The device could be patented, right? So you have to very intelligently draft it. So rather than showing that it's a method of treatment, you actually have to show that it's an apparatus that does this thing, right?
Okay.
Or the apparatus having a composition like this, or the composition means if you just claim the method of treatment of means suppose somebody comes up with a treatment of COVID, right? Then you cannot patent it. You can of course claim the apparatus that does it. You can of course claim the composition that does it, but just claiming the method of treatment would not be ideal because it would be rejected.
Okay. Thank you.
That means procedure is also just like a software, means alone that cannot be patented, but it should support something.
So in some kind of countries, method of treatment is patentable.
Yeah, it is
But
patented.
in
Yeah,
India,
that is why currently, you know, many of the startups, they are registered in some other countries also, because they are having number of patents related to the procedure or maybe related to the software. Then after they get it patented in European Union, these European countries.
yes, yes, exactly. So that happens. That is protected in European countries. Some of them are protected in US laws, right? Some of them are protected in Indian laws. But Indian laws are very, very restrictive. Means in that sense, some of the patents means some of the treatment patents or biomedical patents are patented in US. But what happens is that due to several restrictions made by Section 3D, 3I, 3E, what happens is that even if it fulfills all the three criteria, they have to show that it has more efficacy, right? And since I'm saying that method of treatment are not patentable, then of course they cannot patent a treatment. And what happens? They have to claim a device for that, right? So that somehow becomes somewhat restrictive. The government is taking some actions, but till now, I guess the method of treatments are not patentable.
Sir, I also have a question. If we make some changes in the existing algorithm or technique and hardware is an existing patent, will that be valid?
See, if the hardware is already known, means suppose the algorithm will change, right? So
Yes,
similarly,
algorithm
what
is
will
new.
what will happen is that I understood that question that suppose Uber and Ola are there, right? So they must
Yes,
have different algorithms of finding the estimated time of arrival, right? You agree
yes.
on that, right? So there will be different algorithms that would be there, but just integrating with the same kind of hardware would not solve the purpose. So for that, because your invention or algorithm is new rather than the whole system, so what will happen is that you again have to go for the copyright thing and not the patent thing.
But Karan, what they can do that they can have some extension in that particular hardware, then along with a new algorithm,
Yes,
they
of
can go
course.
for
Yes,
patent.
of course. That is why I'm saying that you can always take motivation from that. You can change your algorithm, right? You can prove that your algorithm is working in a better way. And then
Okay.
again, what you have to do is that you have to make certain modifications to the already existing hardware also,
Okay.
right?
And there we can also get suggestions from Innovel IP.
Yes, sir, of course.
What
This
all
is
we
the
can do.
my concern also, sir. This is the my concern also because being from CSIT person,
So
we
you
do
make something, then after we will see that how we can have some tweak on this, and then after we can. But another problem with this current that in the terms of filing patent, India is doing very well. But when we talk about the commercialization of that particular patent, in which we are not that strong. So what are the main reasons, Karan, why it is so?
So because see, means to be really honest, means earlier it was very very stringent. Means every patent was not getting granted, right? But now what has happened is that even because of the lack of examiners understanding what is happening is that many of the patents that should not be granted are also getting granted in that sense, right? And what happens is that even if they are granted, they can be invalidated after a few years of time, right? Any company can invalidate that certain patent,
Right.
right? So I guess means the quality of filing in that sense also means there you would have seen that there are various patents that are there, but every patent cannot be commercialized because what we are doing is that we are just restricting it very much. We are not thinking on our own, because getting a patent and commercializing it are two very different things. I could add 15 features to the already existing patent and get a granted patent. But if I am adding 16 or 17 new features, then will I be able to commercialize it?
Right, right.
Will there be any product that would infringe? I don't think so that would be the case, because if I have listed down 20 restrictions in my patent, right, and what is happening is that product only has 5 of those, then of course that product will not infringe on that patent. For any inventor, if they want to commercialize it, I think so they should keep their claim as broad as possible. Means I'm not saying that as broad as possible so that it can be rejected by prior art, but what happens is that you have to understand, means that is what is important. We as Ennoble IP, what we do is that whatever invention any university or your university would give, they actually give out 7 or 10 results that are most relevant. Inventor, what they can do is that they can look at all those 7 or 8 results that are very relevant and just could do minor tweaks to that, minor modifications, minor
Right, right.
component enhancement, rather than changing it all by themselves, right? So if you are just changing, or you can do is that you are creating some novel kind of hardware, that could be a way, right? So that it could be as broad as possible. But if you're taking motivation from multiple prior arts, what you have to do is that you will have to restrict your claims to 10 or 15 clauses, and once you do it, your invention is actually as good as zero, because if you put 15 restrictions in your claim, then no product would infringe your patent. So that is why means there are a lot of patents that have been that are getting granted because of those restrictions, but those are not commercialized.
Right.
So if we start claiming only the things that we want to claim, if we are exactly sure that these are the things that have happened till 2021, and this is the component that I want to add, this is the condition that I want to add in the already existing paragraphs that are there, so that it could remain as broad as possible. And so
Right.
that products that are coming or the prototypes that will be launched after 5 years would infringe on those patents. So this should be the scenario rather than just restricting it, because I have seen multiple patents having 2020 restrictions and just getting granted, but they are seriously they are of no use.
No use. Yes. I'm waiting from the participants that if they have any question, they can unmute themselves by them own and own self, and then after they can ask questions. Or otherwise, also you can put your questions in the chat box. I will be asking those questions.
Karan, one more question I have. What's the
Yeah.
difference in publication of a patent and grant of a patent? Grant, I already know, is the final thing, but publication is initial after
Yes,
1
ma'am.
year.
Yes, so that people can come to know that what you are going to be granted means what is going to be granted. But I want expert views from Karan.
But till such time the patent is in the publication stage, we cannot take it as our property, right?
No,
Karan,
no, ma'am. If
Ma'am,
ma'am,
so,
the day ma'am you file it now, you can start working on it. Means now it doesn't matter. Means who is going
ma'am,
to take
so
after
ma'am,
that.
what happens is that whenever you file a patent, you get a priority date associated with it, right? So once you get the priority, then you own your patent, right? And once it is published, after that you can claim damages of any product, but
Right.
that happens only once it is granted, right? So
but
publication
it
is,
could get rejected also
yes,
after the publication
so
stage, right?
that is why I said, ma'am, that once it has been granted, you can take a benefit of the publication. That is why early publication comes into play. So
Okay.
after 18 months, it will be published under normal scenario. You would have seen that some people opt for early publication. Then what means why are they paying so much amount of money so that they could so that it could be published in 1 month's time? Because once that patent is granted, then if any product is there in the market, you can claim damages from that publication date,
Right.
right? So that 17-month window you will get, means ideally it will be after 18 months. And if you are opting for early publication, then it will be after 1 month only it will be published, right? There are some pros and cons both for it. Means pros I have already told, that means if that patent is granted, of course it is rejected, then you cannot help it. If it is granted, you can take the benefit of that 17-month window. What could happen is that there is also pre-grant opposition. Means suppose if some patent is there in the public domain, and sir identify that my idea, or I have also find up application, or I I have seen a similar prototype of it, and I want to have a pre-grant opposition, then of course he can file a pre-grant opposition, right? So after I have published, you can of course give everyone in the public domain has that extended period of time where they could apply for the pre-grant opposition, right? In the pre-grant opposition also, what could happen is that uh, some evidences could be shown by the competitors, and they could say that this patent is not valid, this is already there in the prior art, or we own this patent, right? We own this invention. So there are a lot of benefits, there are a lot of negatives also associated with it. But the major positive, as I've already told, that is it's getting the 17-month window, so that after it is granted, you can enjoy the 17 so that you can enjoy the benefits of infringement from the date of publication.
And what's a rough expenditure in getting a patent filed through a professional body?
Now, see that I guess there are two fees associated with it. One is the government fees, right? The professional could vary. The professional fees, of course, we could do it at a separate price. Some competitor can do it, they could do it at a separate price. I can give you an idea about the government fees that will be involved. And of course, that apart from that, there would be some professional fees that would be taken by the IP experts. So the government fees in filing means if you are filing it as individual would be 1600. You just file it, you have to pay 1600 if you are the individual. If you are basically a small entity, you would have to pay 4000, and if you are basically a large entity, then you have to pay 8000 for it. So this is just the filing fees. Then of course there is a request for examination fees that is separately there, right? So these are all the fees. Then the maintenance fees after it is granted, then you have to submit those. So those are the government fees that you have to pay apart from the professional fees that is there.
Okay, thank you.
Chaya ma'am, we have these all the fees structure with us. I have just WhatsApp you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. So any other question from any of the participants, please, if you have, because this is the platform where you can ask whatever is there in your mind pertaining to IT research or maybe computer science. Whatever is there in your mind, just please ask your questions.
I think,
Yes.
good afternoon, sir. This is
Good afternoon,
Rajkumar Garg.
Rajkumar ji.
I'm from FIMT. It's affiliated to Guru Gobind Singh University only. I think Karan sir has, very well explained about the patent, every detailing and everything. Thank you so much for, enlighten us with the patent thing. So we are very much thankful to Mr. Karan. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir,
Thank you,
for
Rajkumar.
acknowledging it. Thank you.
We are also very much thankful to Karan and his company, Novel IP. Means all the time he is available to us, and many times if I have doubt, I just call to Kushal and to Karan that this query has come to me now, how to solve, and that is why I am gaining and I am learning from them.
So we are really privileged to have a contact with you, and of course we are looking for a long-term association. To the faculties and students also, I'll be providing my email ID. Even if they are not able to ask certain questions right now, if they have certain queries and they develop it at a later stage, they could of course mail me, or they could also personally call me also, right?
But once again, I ask that if you have any questions, please write your. Otherwise, after some time, you will again ask me a few number of questions. I am not denying it to accept, but then too, if you have, you can just ask. Simply, the conclusion is this: that is simply with the software part, you cannot go for patenting. This is part number one. If you wish to do something, then you can go for the copyright. Part number one. Part number two: whenever you thinking about the commercialization, patent is definitely going to pay you in a bigger way in comparison of the copyright. Third thing is this, that with some change in the existing hardware or with a total new hardware, you can definitely get your algorithm, coding, everything, whatever you want, patented as a part of the hardware system. With this thing, I hope that it is clear to you. In the artificial intelligence, number of times you have seen that some hardware is there, then after some algorithm, some supporting part is also there as a procedure, and that together as a bundle we can go and we can ask for patenting. For the prior art also, everything is explained to you, why prior art is important, how to do it. If you want to take professional help in the prior art, that can also be done. And from prior art till the point freedom to operate, that thing is also there, and then how to commercialize these things. Even if you are a startup, you have some patent and you want to commercialize it, how to propagate or give your information to the right companies or right clients, that is also available in our incubation center. You can come on and you can discuss with us. If you want to have some kind of agreement with your clients, then that can also be done with various platforms. So last time I am asking that if you have any questions, please feel free to ask us, and otherwise I will just say thank you note to Karan. So I give you 2 minute time. If you have any questions, please ask me. And Karan, I just want to know that you were saying that for the copyright, also for maintaining copyright, you need to pay. So can you give me something on this, that how much we need to pay for maintaining a copyright?
Sir, I guess I have to check on that. I have to check on that, the exact thing about that. I'll let you know. Means I'll connect you with you personally. I'll get back to you on that. Right.
And the news was coming regarding the Amitabh Bachchan's court case regarding his father Harivansh Bachchan, his copyright. Then that the 60 years time period is not that much, not enough. He wanted to extend that 60-year time.
So that
So
is
what
not
was-
possible. So that is actually not, see, maintaining. I am not saying about maintaining after 6 years. So that is really not possible in copyrights as well as patents, right? So that is not the case. Means I guess we have to pay a certain kind of fee for, I guess, software. It is 500 rupees initially. I
So
have to
what
check
was the
on.
result? What was the result of that case? Do you have any idea?
I don't I did not follow that case much, but yes, I got to know that about that case, right? Means, yes, that was the thing. Means I means read through a lot of documents whether there are any loopholes in which we could extract and we could actually extend the copyrights. But I guess there was a certain duration till that time we could have extended it, but means now I guess from the rules that is there, we cannot extend the copyright.
Karan, one more thing, that after having the complete lifetime of the patents at 20 years, or the time period of the copyright, and after expiring, you say 60 years, then if anyone want to use that particular patent or the copyright right, they can use, or they need to take some permission from some government
So
or
that is
something
in public domain. So that is expired, right? So we can actually use it. But what
without.
happens is without permission. But what happens is that since means electronic industry or robotic industry is growing at such a fast pace, right? So whichever patents that were there in 2000, we would actually not use it because the technology gets obsolete in some time, right? So that is why 20 years is, I guess, more than enough time. So if you would see smartwatches that are there, that are happening now, and if we see 2040, then what will happen is that the technology that we are using would be obsolete.
Right.
So that is why I guess means nobody would use it. But of course, there are certain conditions or certain things that you can of course use it, since it is there in the public domain and it has been expired. So it is available to each and every one of you.
Okay, Karan, out of curiosity, I'm just asking that many times it is seen that number of innovations that is taking place at the with the defense ministry at very confidential way. So they don't go for patent; they just keep it with them.
So
So
that is under the secrecy rule. So section
which
4,
rule?
secrecy rule that is there, means,
Okay.
because what can happen is that suppose someone creates a fighter jet, right? What will happen after 20 years? It will expire.
Yeah.
So it would be there in the public domain and
Yes.
anyone can use it.
Mhm.
That is why they don't go for a patent and they keep it secret. There are various provisions under that. Means if I have to go for a patent, that
Mhm.
is means for military or something like that, I have to take permission from DRDO. I have to collaborate with them, maybe. So there are various restrictions when we are opting for these kind of things. So section 4 also talks about means certain provisions under which I guess those things are also not patentable, right? The atomic energy thing and these type of things are not really patentable in India. These are really not patentable and these are really kept secret because once they are patent, so of course of any patent, what we have to do is that we have to make a public disclosure. After 18 months, it will be disclosed to the public, and after 20 years, anyone can use it. So that
So
is why they are not patented.
this secrecy rule, this is a part of Patent Act or it is separate?
It is part of Patents Act. So Indian Patents Act have multiple sections. So I guess section 35 is the secrecy rule. I'm not really sure about that, but there are a lot of subsections under Indian Patents Act 1970. So it is a part of that.
Thanks, Karan. This is a new thing I come to know.
Yes. Means I'll also ping you exact means what is the subclause under Indian Patents Act that is there. Section 35 is there, but I'm really not sure right now.
Then to this is enough for me, means at least at
Okay,
this stage.
I
Yeah.
have a question also from one of the participants. Do we have to show the improvement in the results as well, or just the technique along with the hardware can be patented?
So if that is a novel thing and that is fulfilling the non-obviousness criteria, every time we don't have to show the improvement. So that
Okay.
improvement only has to be shown, or greater efficacy only has to be shown when it is related to the pharma industry. Means I was specifically talking about the section 3D. We are combining two drugs. Then what will happen is that it has to require, means if we are combining, then it has to have, or a new form of a new substance. Right? A new form of a new substance should have a higher efficacy. Then only it can be patented. Else it cannot be patented. Just if it is a new form of the same substance, it cannot be patented unless and
Okay.
until it has higher efficacy.
Sure. Thanks.
So thanks a lot, Karan. Thanks to all the participants too for attending this session. And the next mentorship session we are going to have on 7th of August. So we will be informing you regarding that. I request all of you to follow us on Facebook page and on LinkedIn page. Thank you. Thanks, Karan, for coming and for accepting our invitation and clearing our doubts.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hope I guess we could have many more sessions with you regarding this, and we can solve as much queries as possible.
Thank you.
Thank you, Karan. Thank you.
Thank you very much.